One of the more amazing properties on the Ford Motor Company list of buildings in the world is this Ford Engineering Lab, which now celebrates its 100th anniversary. Some awfully interesting things happened here during the last 100 years at Ford Motor Company, and I went on a tour today of a newly renovated engineering lab. I'll get to those renovations in a moment. First, this photo from inside the lab in the 1940s kind of reminds me of what the interior looked like the last time I saw it years ago. Hundreds of desks, all facing one direction. Zero team building. Current for the time, but not what today's office space requires. The Ford Engineering Lab is a 100-year-old building that has been adapted and readapted for many uses as the trends and requirements changed.
This was designed by Albert Kahn, famed Detroit industrial architect, who's often thought of as a precursor to modern architecture. But he also worked closely with Henry Ford to develop this structure. And it was revolutionary in that it was one of the first large open office spaces of its time. No other buildings really looked like this. It's also known for its beautiful facade, a Beaux-Arts facade, which I'm sure you saw as you came in today. But yes, Albert Kahn, Henry Ford, long storied relationship when it came to constructing buildings. They also worked together on the Highland Park plant, the Rouge Glass plant, and the Willow Run Bomber plant. Looked here. And so I mentioned that stylists and engineers are working here in tandem. One of my favorites is the first Continental that was styled and designed and really came up with here by Edsel Ford in the 1930s. We also have big one, the V8 engine. The Model A was one of the first big projects that occurred in this building. And then a fun one is the 1949 Ford Super Deluxe. So there have been a number of business functions that have occurred in this building. Originally, we would see a lot of designers, stylists, engineers working together, working to coordinate the creation of a vehicle from its conception to it rolling off of the line. Over the years, it's shifted more to a focus on engineers, and that has continued to today, where we have our electrification teams working in this building, but it's always been a site for innovation, always forward-looking.
And then where we needed to reintroduce program to accommodate our new team, like these are conference rooms, consult rooms, focus rooms behind you, to again treat that like archaeology and just insert very delicately these elements instead of bolting onto the building, impacting the building negatively, positively. So the idea is that over time, this is a sustainability strategy. We can adjust or remove these elements, to evolve with our new teams, and the building will be okay. When you step back, just from a brand perspective, and evaluate those things that are unique to us, so our greatest assets, it is our story, it's our legacy. Of course we want to be looking forward, always, but to be able to combine this rich legacy, this history, with this future casting is the thing that makes us uniquely Ford Motor Company. It is critical that we tell this story. By the way, I want to note that our goal is that by 2027, we have renovated 90% of our properties for our employees. So that is almost the entirety of our footprint, like this, has modernized for our employee population, which is an incredible target.